My name is Cleo, phaseclips head archivist and historian. Welcome library. Glueck, whose name is not a rude word and it's actually German for luck. As a person who's spent enough time in academic fields, how can I memorize and study a large amount of information faster and more efficiently? I'm not really the person to ask that, to be honest, because my memory is kind of short and always has been. I've always had a terrible memory, which is why I tended to underperform on exams and I did much better in essay work. I would say that just note-taking is like a very good way to consume memory, especially if you do it via hand. If you write, for me at least, because I think everyone is very different, right? But for me at least, I find I recall notes a lot better if I handwrite the notes versus typing them. That is definitely one thing for me, is the movement of, just simply the movement of the hand to write out the notes feels like it becomes more in-depth, you know? And then how should I behave when giving an answer to a professor in an exam? I mean, is it an oral exam or is it like a written exam? I don't know, just stay within the rules. Figure out what the class is asking you to, or what the professor is asking you to answer. That's like the main thing. Like for me, when I was doing my undergrad, I kind of gamified it a little bit. I've talked about this before. I gamified my undergrad because I very quickly realized what my university's marking criteria was in regards to exams and assessments, so that I could kind of cheat a little bit in regards to approaching essays. Because once I had figured out this is how they want them set out, it became a template that I could then use for basically every assessment in my undergrad. And then it was simply just filling in said template with the knowledge of the topic at hand, right? So, for example, if I was doing an essay on Roman houses, I could take the template that I had and then just fill in the answers with, here is my introduction, here's my opening arguments or statements, here are the 3 topics I'm going to feature, or 3 arguments that I will feature in my essay. And then from there, it was, and I was pretty good at this in my undergrad days, of getting to the crux of sources and going through them and getting the important points very quickly. So not faffing around with having to read, like, say, a 50-page document when, say, only 5 pages are actually relevant to my argument, right? Or maybe even just, like, 1 paragraph within the 50-page thing. So I found that very easy. If it's an oral essay, or an oral assessment, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember having to do many oral assessments. We had some presentations, but not many. My university didn't really rely on many presentations. I think the only presentations I did were in team assessment, or group assessment, I should say. I don't remember ever having to do individual assessment. Aside from my thesis defense, yeah, I'm just talking about my undergrad though, because I assume the question is about undergrad, right? What do professors pay attention to? I can't speak for every professor, but for me at least, even in my undergrad, and, you know, when I was actually on the other side of that, the situation of having to mark and grade assessments, it was also, stop being crass in the chat, guys. A lot of it was just making sure that you're engaging with the sources, right? If you're actually engaging with the topic, you're not just being surface level sort of analysis, surface level takes, surface level reading, and surface level evidence finding. A lot of it is actually going beyond simply like just regurgitating Wikipedia and actually engaging in the source material that you would have been given like lists for. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to the reading lists for a history course, most of the things that you need to read for your assessment are provided for you in those reading lists. It shouldn't be very difficult to find the information that you need to answer the assessments, because it should have been provided for you, technically. Or most of it would have been. At least in my university, they did. So it really isn't. It should just be, just as long as you can show evidence of engaging in the sources on a critical level and not just on a surface level, then it should be, that should help a lot. That's kind of what you're really looking forward to. And then just, you know, having a cohesive argument that doesn't, you know, go meandering off in different directions and stays on topic and, keeps concise. A lot of it is also trying to be concise within the word limit. Because you do lose marks if you go over or under, technically. What's the last question? And what would you like to know for yourself when you studied at university? Probably not to pursue further studies. No, I mean, it worked out for me in the end, but it's a pretty rough industry. Like, you very much are doing it for the love of the game, not because you want to be successful or make a career out of it, to be honest. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Sorry, I was just kind of ranting for a bit. Every sentence needs to have a purpose? Yes. Try and be useful with your time, because sometimes, depending on, I guess, the course or your university or whatever, but sometimes you only have 2,000 words to answer a topic, right? And 2,000 words can go by in the blink of an eye. It's one of those fun things where in your undergrad you do 2,000 words, and then when you get to postgrad you're doing 50,000 words, and it's like, oh my god, 50,000 words isn't enough. I think my first draft of my thesis was somewhere in the region of 70 to 80,000 words. And I had to trim it down. It was like 90 pages or something in Word. I love foreign students. I imagine foreign students who are ESL love writing essays. I never had that on Twitch. I mean, fucking brain rot, holy shit. I never had to deal with that as a teacher because I never had foreign students. I had one foreign student the entire time when I was teaching, and it was this Korean guy. And this was before, like, AI was ruining university. But, I mean, you also had, like, cliff notes and whatnot kind of affecting people's ability to study. And what are the resources that people used to cheat back in the day? Spark Notes? That was it. What was I saying? Cliff Notes. Yeah, so, like, and I know that my university had some stuff uploaded online, because I've seen it myself, but I don't remember too many people kind of abusing it that much. I quit teaching. Well, I didn't say I quit. I got let go graciously from my teaching position before AI really got bad. Before it really, really, really got bad, I was let go. So I've been lucky, I guess, of having to not deal with that situation, which is nice. I graduated. Well, it's more like I guess terminated would be the better one to say, technically, in terms of the wording, if you want to use VTuber lingo, but I don't know if I was terminated. They didn't renew my contract. So a lot of teachers were moving to oral exams to avoid AI, which is great in my opinion. I did see a tweet like that, and that makes sense. It does also result in exams taking longer because now you have to do one-on-one sessions for these exams, which means if you're doing an introductory course, say for like a history course, like history is a fairly small discipline. At my university, like, intro courses would maybe have a couple hundred. Higher year courses would maybe have 50, maybe 30. So that's still a lot of students that you have to go through exams. So obviously you would split up the work between the teachers and the teachers' assistants, and then tutors technically is the lingo in Australia. So you would split up the work a little bit, but still, that's still a lot of oral exams. They started a bunch of home exams during COVID. Needless to say, they weren't very useful. Yeah, I think I had to do, in the first semester, one of during COVID, I think we did try that, and obviously it didn't really do very well, because it's basically just inviting people to cheat, which is, I guess, whatever. An at-home exam. I know we had to do invigilated exams at one point online, and that shit was fucked up. Because, I don't know about you guys, literally every single time we'd had that, there were just complaints en masse from, oh yeah, the invigilator was just, like, going through my PC. Like, what the fuck? The invigilator was just, like, blatantly abusing people's privacy. The proctor, yeah. That shit was so bad. We had so many complaints. Not necessarily in my courses, but like across the faculty when that happened. And that was bad. That was really, really bad. I can't speak for every university, but I'm pretty sure for my university, they had staff who had nothing to do with the course helping with those. Well, they had not professional, but they had staff dedicated to that. Which is kind of weird. But if you want to cheat, it's very easy. I never cheated. Because I kind of didn't need to. A small flex, I guess, but I don't know about you guys, but once I had figured out how to min-max my assessments in terms of essays, I was able to I was really, really bad at exams. Like, my memory is not very good, and it always has been terrible, which is kind of ironic for history degree. But once I had figured out and min-maxed my essay writing and getting it down to a pretty precise science for what the school was after in terms of how they want the lecture, how they want the how they want the essay set out, what to include, what sources to focus on, how to approach the assessment, blah, 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 blah. I had all of that down to a T. I could nail out an assessment in 4 hours. 4 to 5 hours, I could finish an assessment, get top marks. So, because I could do that with all of my essays, once I got to the exam, I could skate by with like a 70 on the exam and still get like top marks for my courses, which is basically what I did with every course once I had done that. Did you follow your own template? It was all just in my mind, basically, because like I never felt the need to write the template out or create a template, like an actual template. Maybe I could have sold that. I probably could have made a lot of money off my fellow students if I had become an enterprising individual in that regard. But once I had like figured that out, it was just basically taking that sort of approach and then just using it for every course that I ever did in my degree. So yeah, that was very helpful. What was your favorite thing a professor did in university? Ooh, I had one professor who would bring wine to class. It was pretty good. He would bring, he would bring wine to class. So, because we had evening classes. And, so it was like a 6 till 8 p.m. class. And he would just bring wine. So after the, I think halfway through the lecture, during the break, because we would always have like a 10-minute break, he would just be like, if you bothered to attend the class, then you got a free glass of wine, basically. So that was nice. Not that I drank much wine back then, but, you know, it was pretty good. He gave you wine? Yeah. Yeah, luckily on that day, I had classes beforehand, so I wasn't, like, if I was a student who only had that course during that day, I would not have gone to those classes, because fuck going to university for a 6 p.m. class, right? Who the fuck goes to university for just one 6 p.m. class? I would have to go through rush hour traffic for 2 hours. Actually, no, I was living a lot closer. So yeah, I would have those, you know, a full day of classes. Well, not a full day, but some classes. And then it was just super chill, breezy, 6 p.m. class. Show up, learn about history, have some wine, pour a glass for everyone, take the wine back to your seat, because if you didn't finish it, it's fine. You can just keep drinking it whilst you're... Because the fun thing about it is that you're not supposed to drink and eat during class, but you just didn't give a fuck. You had a history of food class. That was cool. That's cool. Yeah, I shouldn't probably talk about too many specific niche topics that my university had, but, because there are definitely courses that are tailor-made to certain members of staff, their expertise. And I almost, I think if I had worked there for maybe another year, I probably would have been in charge of medieval courses, and then I may have been able to do my own course after that, which would have been cool. So I would have probably had like a 2nd or 3rd year course about insert topic here, so that would have been cool, because I would have been able to teach kids about the Clio topic, which I can't tell you about because I don't want to dox myself. Oh no, here comes the charge of the century. Who will win? Oh my god, that's incredible.